pavilion at Fajuyi in Adwekiti, the venue of the
Iroyin Lekunrere. The Secretary to the Ekiti State Government, Professor Abibat Adubiaro, has again highlighted the achievements of the Oyebanji administration in the areas of infrastructure, education, healthcare, youth empowerment, and economic development. Professor Adubiaro, during a regular monthly engagement in Adwekiti, urged all political stakeholders to continue to propagate the success of the administration and to their constituents and mobilize grassroots support ahead of the election. She noted that the governor had demonstrated uncommon dedication and competence in governance and deserved support. Former Deputy Governor in the state, Professor Modupe Adelabu, in her contribution, described Governor Oyebanji as a leader with vision and compassion. Similarly, Senator Babafemi Ojudu called on all political leaders from Adwekiti to put aside personal interest and work in unity to return the governor for a second term. Forum of chairmen and members of commissions, board and agencies in Ekiti State has joined the list of groups calling on Governor Biodun Oyebanji to recontest for a second term in office. At a ceremony in Adwekiti, the forum unanimously endorsed the governor and his deputy for the next governorship election. BSS reporter Abayomi Peke has the rest of the story.
The mini pavilion at Fajuyi in Adwekiti, the venue of the ceremony, was filled with posters with different descriptions calling on Governor Oyebanji to run for a second term in office. In his opening remarks, the chairman of the forum, Chief Alaba Bejide, who is the chairman Local Government Service Commission, said the group endorsed the governor and his deputy for another term as an expression of their appreciation to the present administration for providing a living environment at their various establishments.
We are therefore unanimously calling on the governor, Mr. Biodun Oyebanji, to declare his interest to contest for the positions of the executive governor of the state in 2026.
The chairman board for vocational and technical education, Pastor Kayede Babade, moved a motion for the endorsement, seconded by a member of the House of Assembly Commission, Mrs. Folarushi Adeosi, and ratified by the State House of Assembly Speaker, Mr. Adoji Aribasoye. Earlier, representatives of the forum from the 3 senatorial districts in the state who took turns to express the reasons for the endorsement said Governor Oyebanji's performance in less than 3 years in office was unprecedented. The Secretary to the State Government, Professor Abibat Adubiaro, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Political Matters, Chief Gideawe, expressed the determination of the Governor to continue to work on his mandate to improve the living standard of the people.
Thank God for today that we believe so much in Governor Biodun Oyebanji, in monumental achievements he has recorded so far. I really appreciate you.
The reward of hard work is to work more. And I think Mr. Governor is listening.
In separate interviews, some members of the forum said the program, which was the first of its kind among the political office holders in commissions, boards and agencies, was part of values of democracy.
There is no commission for a certain agency and the board that he has never touched.
Yes, exercising their right to
tell the governor to throw his hat into the ring second time, having performed very credibly.
And our governor have done a lot in terms of training all our teachers, moving our teachers from grade level 15 to 16.
He promised to ensure that the governor and his deputy were returned to the government house for another term of 4 years. Abayomi Peke reporting.
Ahead of the conduct of next year's governorship election in Ekiti State, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has announced the notice of election with a call on stakeholders to play the game according to the rules. The Ekiti State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Bumi Omosheindemi, made the announcement in Ado-Ekiti. Our reporter Olushola Thomas completes the story.
The meeting, which attracted representatives of political parties and journalists, was an avenue to intimate relevant stakeholders about the approval of the timetable and schedule of activities for the conduct of the election by the Commission. Dr. Omosheindemi said that the meeting was in line with the provision of Section 28(1) of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, which mandates the Commission to issue the notice of the election not later than a year before the appointed date for the election.
It is in compliance with this statutory provision that we are gathered here today to formally notify stakeholders of the Commission's intention and schedule to conduct the Ekiti State governorship election in 2026. Although the detailed timetable and the schedule of activities for the governorship election have been uploaded to INEC websites and social media platforms.
The state INEC boss expressed the commitment of the electoral body to uphold transparency, fairness, and professionalism in the process of conducting a credible election in 2026. He charged political actors to adhere to the rules of engagement in the conduct of party primaries and other activities in line with electoral guidelines, calling on media professionals to uphold professionalism in their news reportage.
As always, INEC remains committed to upholding the highest standard of transparency, professionalism, and fairness in all our processes. We expect that the political parties will reciprocate this by adhering strictly to the rules of engagement, particularly in conduct of their party primaries, submission of candidates and campaigns, and in accordance with the Electoral Act and Commission's guidelines.
Representatives of the various political parties present at the meeting were given copies of the schedule and timetable for the election, while same are expected to be pasted on the notice board of the Commission's offices at the local government level across the state. Olushola Thomas reporting.
The Special Advisor on Security Matters to Ekiti State Governor, retired Brigadier General Ebenezer Ogundano, has attributed the escalation of farmers' herders' conflicts to climate change, population growth, and religious differences. He made the assertion at the opening of a 3-day training on prevention and resolution of incidents of farmers' herders' conflicts held in Ado-Ekiti. BSS reporter Yetunde Oloye has the rest of the story.
Retired Brigadier Ogundano, who raised concern on the spate of killings and destruction of properties across the country due to herders-farmers clashes, thank Governor Biodun Oyebanji for managing security situation well in the state, hence the promotion of peace, stability, and development across the state. He noted that the farmers' herders are entrepreneurs who play crucial roles in agriculture. The special advisor urged the participants to engage actively, share experience, and learn from one another.
Since you have all the stakeholders of that, you have something to take. So the guys were able to enable us to reach out to our herders, farmers, so that we can create a community and work together, move the state.
The state coordinator of Ekiti Health Press, Mr. Yinka Adedupe, said that the initiative would help the farmers' elders to figure out the cause of conflict and find necessary solutions as and when due.
Human rights, basically, what is causing this conflict is basically resources. Look at the resources, feed and water. We're trying to manage the relationship and at the same time trying to make sure that the population for the resources so that between farmers.
The executive director of Global Peace Development, Mr. Ebruke Ezike, said that the program was to create an avenue for farmers' elders to interact on conflict resolution.
We're also learning from the people how they've managed, they've coped with the incidents of elders and farmers' conflict, and how best we can together act to ensure that we have a peaceful state and environment as Nigeria.
In their goodwill messages, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Ebenezer Ojo, who was represented by the Director of Animal Husbandry Services, Mr. Anthony Alofe, and the Chairman of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN, Mr. Adebola Alagbada, said that the farmers' elders conflict was a pressing issue that requires a collective attention.
You know, livestock farmer and crop farmer, every one of them, they are farmers. But one must not be disturbing one another. We must rally around it and find a solution to the way forward.
The ending of the planet, the beginning of the climate change, has created a lot of challenges for the agricultural sector. The herders are looking for where to graze because of the climate change. The farmers too.
Some of the participants said the training would help them live peaceably among themselves. The training was attended by security personnel and other stakeholders in the state. Yetunde Oloye reporting.
A university don, Professor Christopher Oluwadare, has identified the lack of investment in the education and health sectors as causes of the various problems facing Nigeria. He made his position known while delivering the 93rd inaugural lecture of Ekiti State University at Ekiti. BSS reporter Olushola Thomas said that the ceremony was presided over by the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Joseph Ayodele. The reports.
The lecture had in attendance academic scholars from within and outside the state, family members, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. The professor of medical sociology, who defined total health as the idealized state of physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual, charged governments and individuals to always do the right thing to attain a healthy society.
Illness as I said, a more subjective assessment of the feeling of this sick, which can be confirmed by less latent others like our parents, friends, especially in our culture. Our mothers like using the back of their palms to measure child temperature, pressing the back of the body and asking, are you feeling pain? A professional syndrome orders for us in sociology does not exclude our indigenous like the Babalawos, the Onishetus, the Adamches, the professional healers, and also their fast and the police, because they gave the spiritism for healing and they are part of the syndrome orders in healing and health seeking.
Professor Oluwadare, who condemned the spate of killings and insecurity in the country, attributed the menace to high poverty level, arbitrary inflation, poor access to good water, lack of healthcare services, fake drugs, and corruption in all sectors of the country.
It is not money, it is not economy that's a problem. Look at banditry, look at kidnapping, look at Boko Haram. Everything boils down to poor access to education. Once people are educated, they will take informed decisions. So I'm just knocking on the door of government, not only federal government, state government and the local government. Let them do the needful.
The medical sociologists identified corrupt practices at the various levels of health system in the country to include diversion of medical materials, absenteeism, favoritism in attending to patients, and recruitment, adding that leadership determines the type of corrupt practices displayed in different hospitals. He called on leaders to develop the political will to implement the international agreements of the 2001 that 15% annual budgetary allocation of our state and country be allocated to the health sector in the country.
It is a clarion call. It's an advocacy. Take all those recommendations one by one, and you find out that within the next decade, Nigerian problem will be over.
The Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Joseph Ayodele, in an interview described the lecture as apt. He expressed hope of a better Nigeria if various recommendations of the lecturer are implemented by governments and relevant stakeholders.
All of us should take care of our health, look at from the functional perspective, spiritual and psychological perspective.
He expressed hope of a better Nigeria if the various recommendations of the lecturer are implemented by governments and relevant stakeholders. Olusola Thomas reporting.
Students have been charged to be focused on their studies so as to excel in their academic pursuits. Stakeholders gave the charge at the second matriculation ceremony of Venite University, Ilore Ekiti, Ekiti State. Our reporter, Olusola Thomas, completes the story.
The ceremony, which started with academic procession, had in attendance top government functionaries, religious leaders, and traditional rulers. Welcoming the dignitaries to the program, the acting Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Kelvin Aduloju, charged the matriculating students to abide by the rules and regulations of the school and shun cultism.
Our mission is to provide quality education that foster attitude and aspiration to train self-reliant graduates who are equipped not only to secure employment but also job opportunities and become a better competitor.
The matriculation oath was administered on the students by the registrar of the university, Dr. Ezekiel Agbaje.
I shall faithfully observe all rules and regulations. Of the school from time to time. Issue for the good order.
This matter is going to, grow to a global institution.
On her part, the wife of the Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Olayemi Yebaji, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Women Affairs, Mrs. Peju Babafemi, expressed happiness about the developments in the school, which she said were in agreement with the various steps of the Oyebanji's administration to improve the sector in the state.
This great vision aligns with the government of Oyebanji's administration governance agenda under its human capital development pillar. The administration's policies aim to meet contemporary needs and cultivate students with practical skills for real-world challenges.
Speaking in an interview, the proprietor of the school, Mr. Dapo Kolawole, expressed happiness about the progress recorded in the school's establishment.
We are not there yet. It's a journey. It's a vision that is bigger than us. It's a vision that requires everybody to support. And we are grateful to God.
The matriculated students promised to be dedicated to their studies. 365 students participated in the matriculation ceremony. Olusola Thomas reporting.
EKTV News at 7 continues after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
Mr. Chef Mixed Spices Seasoning Cube don't land with all your rich spices where you love inside one cube. Mr. Chef Mixed Spices Seasoning Cube. Spice mix exactly the way you like them. They are available for seasoning cube. Try them today.
Happy every day, things are not the same. Oh no, now I come from a buffet, unlimited buffet. Why another fear? Cause I know it's more than enough for me. Motion fit finish, I will get finished. I have all I need. It's unlimited. It's unlimited.
To enjoy unlimited data on your devices, visit airtel.com.ng/HBB. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Beautiful, it's your name. Wonderful is what you are to me. Ever we kill off for our mommy. Oh, shall we go? Go say
Everyone.
Mr. Chef Mixed Spices Seasoning Cube don't land with all your rich spices where you love inside one cube. Mr. Chef Mixed Spices Seasoning Cube. Spice mix exactly the way you like them. They available for seasoning cube. Try them today.
The June edition of the monthly environmental sanitation exercise will hold in Ekiti State on Saturday from 7 to 10 in the morning. Movement of people and vehicles will be restricted except for those on essential duties, supervisors and candidates writing the 2025 NECO examinations. Government workers are expected to clean their offices and surroundings, while market vendors are to tidy up their business premises. The theme of this month's exercise is "A Clean Environment Begins With Me," encouraging personal responsibility for hygiene. Residents are advised to clean drainages and dispose of waste properly, as environmental officers, NGOs, and security personnel will monitor compliance, while mobile courts will prosecute violators of sanitation laws. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has declared tomorrow a public holiday in commemoration of the new Islamic calendar. This was contained in a statement issued by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Regional Integration and Special Duties, Mr. Mudashiru Oyedeji. Adeleke urged Muslim faithful to use the Hijra celebration to pray for peace, progress, and development of the state. He explained that the celebration period was a time to pray for the overall development of the state and unity at large. According to the statement, the governor will take a customary salute on Saturday at a special march past at Fakunde Comprehensive High School in Osogbo in celebration of the new year. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has signed into law 4 tax reform bills on key areas of Nigeria's fiscal and revenue framework. The 4 bills signed by the president include the Nigerian Tax Bill, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Service Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Bill. Tinubu signed the bill at a ceremony held at the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, after months of consultations by the National Assembly with various interest groups and stakeholders. The House of Representatives has called for an immediate and comprehensive investigation into the Nigerian police force following allegations of corruption, illegal asset sales, and contract fraud amounting to over 50 billion naira. The resolution follows the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance during its plenary. Mr. Okurara Osunwa, who raised the motion, decried the systemic rot within the police force, warning that unchecked abuse of office, financial misconduct, and asset stripping posed a serious threat to Nigerians' national security and public trust. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has scheduled a series of by-elections for Saturday, August 16, to fill vacant seats in the national and state assemblies across 12 states in the country. The chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmood Yakub, who made the announcement during a meeting with political parties leaders in Abuja, explained that the vacancies arose from resignations, death, and court order annulments. He noted that the elections would take place in 16 constituencies involving 2 senatorial districts, 5 federal constituencies, and 9 state assemblies. The Federal Capital Territory FCT chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has warned that if it will shut down Abuja next week Thursday ultimatum if the FCT authorities fail to resolve ongoing industrial disputes affecting council workers in the territory. The FCT NLC chairman, Dr. Stephen Kanadi, issued the warning during an interview with journalists in Abuja, noting that the action was aimed at compelling the FCT administration to address welfare concerns raised by striking workers. The union explained that it had deliberately held back from action to allow President Bola Tinubu conclude the series of project inaugurations in Abuja, which are scheduled to end next Thursday. The FCT has witnessed months of industrial unrest in its 6 area councils, with primary health centers shut down and public school teachers away from classrooms due to the strike. And moving on to the foreign scene, President William Ruto has officially signed the Financial Bill 2025 into law, marking a crucial moment for Kenya's economic landscape. The comprehensive bill aims to streamline revenue collection, improve the business environment, and foster innovation-driven economic growth of Kenya. The Finance Act 2025 introduces several key amendments across various tax laws, including the Income Tax Act, Value Added Tax Act, and Excise Duty Act. Activities marking the final burial of the late Madam Esther Adegboye, mother of Ekiti State Deputy Governor Okinlua Munisade Afuye, have begun at Ikere Ekiti. Her remains were moved from a private mortuary in Ado Ekiti to a residence at Okiosun Ikere Ekiti for a lying in state and service of songs. The motorcade, accompanied by a musical band and a long convoy, took over hours to reach Ikere Ekiti. The Deputy Governor Okinlua Munisade Afuye led family members and was received by a jubilant crowd wearing T-shirt bearing the late Olori's portrait. The procession made a brief stop at Adeyeri's compound in Uro quarters before proceeding to the final venue. Madam Adegboye died on February 18 at the age of 97 and will be buried tomorrow. That's the EKTV News at 7. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
kalẹ̀ ẹ̀sìn káàbọ̀ sórí ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ Kelechi David lóníròyìn. Akọ̀wé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Abibat Adubiaro ti ṣàtẹnumọ́ àwọn àṣeyọrí ìjọba Oyèbánjí láwọn ètò amáyédẹrùn ẹ̀kọ́ ìlera irú àwọn ọ̀dọ́ lágbára àti ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Adubiaro lákòókò ìfikùnlukùn olóṣooṣù kan nílùú Adó Èkìtì rọ gbogbo àwọn tó jẹ́ òṣèlú tó wà níbi ètò náà látẹ̀síwájú láti máa polongo àṣeyọrí ètò ìjọba yìí fáwọn aráàlú wọn kí wọ́n sì wá àtìlẹ́yìn àwọn aráàlú ṣáájú ìdìbò tó ń bọ̀. Ó tẹnumọ́ pé gómìnà ti ṣe àfihàn ìmọ̀ àti òye lẹ́ka ètò ìṣàkóso ìjọba èyí tó fi yẹ kí wọ́n ṣàtìlẹ́yìn fún igbákejì gómìnà tẹ́lẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ yìí ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Modúpẹ́ Adélabú nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀ ṣàpèjúwe gómìnà Oyèbánjí gẹ́gẹ́ bí aṣáájú tó ní àfojúsùn àti àánú. Bákan náà sẹ́nitọ̀ Fẹ́mi Ojúdú ké sí gbogbo àwọn aṣáájú òṣèlú láti ìlú Adó Èkìtì láti fi ọ̀rọ̀ ìfẹ́ àwọn aráàlú ìfẹ́ ara wọn sílẹ̀ kí wọ́n sì fi ìfẹ́ àwọn aráàlú ṣáájú lójúnà àti rí pé ètò ti ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ló kẹsẹ̀ járí kó ṣe fún ìṣọ̀kan láti jẹ́ kí gómìnà Oyèbánjí ṣe sáà kejì. Àpéjọ àwọn alága àti àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ láwọn iléeṣẹ́ àti ẹ̀ka ìjọba nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ti darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn tó ń pe gómìnà Bíọ́dún Oyèbánjí láti tún díje fún sáà kejì lọ́fíìsì níbi ètò kan tó wáyé nílùú Adó Èkìtì. Ẹgbẹ́ náà jùmọ̀ fọwọ́ sí pé kí gómìnà àti igbákejì rẹ̀ díje nínú ìdìbò gómìnà ọdún tó ń bọ̀. Oníròyìn BSCS Àbáyọ̀mí Pẹ́kẹ́ jábọ̀ ìròyìn pé níbi ètò náà ní èyí tí ó jẹ́ pé wáyé lóríkò ti gbàgede ìṣètò pavilion nílùú Adó Èkìtì ní Fájuyì ní àwọn ìkànnlú léyìí tí ó fi mọ́ àwọn lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ àti àwọn ikọ̀ tó dipò òṣèlú mú ti pé gómìnà Oyèbánjí láti rí pé ó díje fún sáà kejì ni wọ́n sọ pé ètò ọ̀hún ló jẹ́ ara àlàkalẹ̀ láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ pé gómìnà ni ó jẹ́ pé àwọn aráàlú mọ rírì àwọn iṣẹ́ ribiribi tí ó ti ṣe fún ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ yìí. Lára àwọn tó sọ̀rọ̀ níbi ètò náà tó fi mọ́ alága àjọ tó ń rí sí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ ọwọ́ pásítọ̀ Káyọ̀dé Babádé àti alága àjọ tó ń rí sí ètò ti àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ilégbìmọ̀ aṣòfin nípínlẹ̀ yìí Fọláríchì Adéwùsì ni wọ́n sọ pé bí wọ́n ṣe dábàá náà ló jẹ́ ìgbésẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kí wọ́n ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn fún ìjọba tó wà lóde yìí léyìí tí olórí ilégbìmọ̀ aṣòfin ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adéoyè Àríbásóyè ti fi òǹtẹ̀ lu ètò ìgbésẹ̀ ọ̀hún léyìí tí wọ́n ní ó jẹ́ ara ìgbésẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kí wọ́n fi ẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn fún àwọn ètò ìdàgbàsókè èyí tó ti wáyé nípínlẹ̀ yìí. Akọ̀wé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Abibat Adubiaro àti bàbá jírò fún gómìnà lórí ọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú Olóyè Jídé Awẹ́ sọ pé gómìnà ló ní àfojúsùn àti ìtara láti jẹ́ kí ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ yìí kó lè máa yá kankan àti láti ṣètò ohun amáyédẹrùn fún àwọn èèyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì tí wọ́n sọ pé ìgbésẹ̀ náà ló jẹ́ ẹ̀rí májẹ̀rìnṣó. Lára àwọn ọmọ lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ àti lájọlájọ tó sọ̀rọ̀ níbi ètò ọ̀hún ni wọ́n sọ pé bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe àtìlẹ́yìn gómìnà láti díje fún sáà kejì ló jẹ́ ìgbà àkọ́kọ́ nínú ìtàn ti òṣèlú ìpínlẹ̀ yìí tí wọ́n sọ pé ó jẹ́ ara ẹ̀rí májẹ̀rìnṣó fún àwọn iṣẹ́ rere tí gómìnà ti ṣe bí wọ́n ti ṣèlérí láti ṣiṣẹ́ fi rí dájú pé gómìnà jáwé borí nínú ètò ìdìbò tó ń bọ̀. Ṣáájú ètò ìdìbò gómìnà ọdún tó ń bọ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì, àjọ elétò ìdìbò ti orílẹ̀-èdè yìí INEC ti kéde ìlànà ìdìbò pẹ̀lú ìpèsè àwọn tọ́rọ̀ kàn láti tẹ̀lé àlàkalẹ̀ òfin. Ọ̀gá àjọ elétò ìdìbò nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀mọ̀wé Bùnmi Ọmọṣẹ́yìndẹ̀mí kéde yìí nílùú Adó-Èkìtì. Oníròyìn BSS Olúṣọlá Thomas jábọ̀ ròyìn pé ìpàdé náà tí àwọn aṣojú ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú àwọn oníròyìn ti wà ní oríkò ọ̀hún ni ó jẹ́ àǹfààní láti la àwọn ìkànnì lọ́yẹ̀ lórí ìlànà ti ètò ìdìbò lẹ́yìn tí àjọ ọ̀hún tó ti ṣe láti lè jẹ́ kí ètò ìdìbò kẹsẹ̀ járí. Ọ̀mọ̀wé Ọmọ́sẹ̀yìndèmí sọ pé ìpàdé náà ló wà níbàámu pẹ̀lú abala òfin ti ìlànà ètò ìdìbò ti orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tọdún 22 lẹ́yìn tí ó fàyè gba àjọ náà láti kéde ìlànà ìdìbò ṣáájú ètò bí ètò ìdìbò yóò ṣe wáyé ó kéré tán ọdún kan. Àjọ elétò ìdìbò ti ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ní ọ̀gá wọn tẹnumọ́ ìfarajì àjọ elétò ìdìbò náà láti fàyè gba àkóyawọ́ àti láti ṣiṣẹ́ wọn bí akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ nígbà tí ó sọ pé wọn yóò ṣe ètò ìdìbò tó jẹ́ àtẹ́wọ́gbà fún tẹrútọmọ nípínlẹ̀ yìí lọ́dún tó ń bọ̀. Ó rọ àwọn òṣèlú láti tẹ̀lé ìlànà tí ètò ìdìbò ọ̀hún kó ṣe ètò ìdìbò abẹ́lé wọn lójúnà àti rí pé ó tẹ̀lé ti òfin ètò ìdìbò bó ti pé àwọn oníléeṣẹ́ ìròyìn láti ṣe iṣẹ́ wọn bí àkọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́. Àwọn aṣojú àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó wà níbi ìpàdé náà ni wọ́n fún ní ẹ̀dà ìlànà ètò ìdìbò ọ̀hún nígbà tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n rọ̀ wọ́n láti lẹ̀ sí àwọn oríkò àti ìyá ẹgbẹ́ wọn níbi ó jẹ́ pé àjọ sọ pé wọ́n yóò sì pé wọ́n ṣe ètò ìdìbò tí ó gbìyànjú fẹ́gbẹ́ gbàwó nípínlẹ̀ yìí. Ṣáájú ìdìbò gómìnà ọdún 2026 àwọn òṣèlú nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ni wọ́n ti gbà lámọ̀ràn pé kí wọ́n ṣe òṣèlú tí ó dá lórí ohun tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe láìsí ẹ̀tanú èké àti ìbanilórúkọjẹ́. Alága àgbáríjọpọ̀ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú Nàìjíríà nípínlẹ̀ yìí CNPP olùṣọ́-àgùntàn Victor Akínọlá fún pé náà nígbà tí ó ń bá àwọn oníròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ nípínlẹ̀ yìí nílùú Adó-Èkìtì. Oníròyìn BSCS tó Balọ́lá mábọ̀ rẹ̀ wá pé pásítọ̀ Akínọlá sọ pé àgbáríjọpọ̀ àwọn ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí ní kò ní káwọ́ gbéra kí àwọn kankan máa gbìyànjú láti ṣe àwọn aráàlú lọ́nà nípa píparọ́ àti gbìyànjú láti dọwọ́ bọ ohun tó ń ṣe òótọ́ tàbí àwọn àǹfààní ètò ìjọba tiwantiwa nípínlẹ̀ yìí. Ó yùnbó pé ètò àpérò tí àwọn oníròyìn èyí tí ẹgbẹ́ kan tó jẹ́ mega tí wọ́n ti ṣe nípínlẹ̀ yìí ló jẹ́ èyí tí kò kẹsẹ̀ járí èyí tó sì wà láti ba ìjọba gómìnà Bíọ́dún Oyèbánjí lórúkọ jẹ́ èyí tó jẹ́ pé ó ti mú àyípadà bá ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ní gbogbo ọ̀nà. Pásítọ̀ Akínọlá tẹnumọ́ pé àwọn ipa ìjọba tó wà lóde yìí ni ó jẹ́rìí má jẹ́rìn ìṣó nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì nípa ṣíṣe àmúṣe àwọn ètò olóòpó mẹ́fà rẹ̀. Olùdámọ̀ràn pàtàkì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò fún gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ajagun fẹ̀yìntì Ebenezer Ogudana ti sọ pé ìjà àwọn darandaran tó ń pọ̀ sí kò ṣẹ̀yìn àyípadà ojú ọjọ́ bí àwọn aráàlú ṣe ń pọ̀ sí àti ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn tó ṣọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ yìí nígbà tó ń ṣíde ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta lórí dídènà àti yanjú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ rògbòdìyàn darandaran àti àgbẹ̀ tó ń wáyé nílùú Adó-Èkìtì. Oníròyìn BSCS Yótúndé Olóyè jábọ̀ ròyìn pé ajagunfẹ̀yìntì Ògúdánà ẹni tí ó kọ́ mi lórí bí ọ̀rọ̀ ìpànìyàn àti bí wọ́n ṣe ń ba dúkìá jẹ́ ṣe ń pọ̀ sí lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí láàrin àwọn àgbẹ̀ àti darandaran nípa ti aáwọ̀ tó wọ́ láàrin wọn dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà Bíọ́dún Oyèbánjí fún bí ó ṣe mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ààbò nípínlẹ̀ yìí lẹ́yìn tó ń ṣe ìgbélárugẹ àlàáfíà ìdúróore àti ìdàgbàsókè káàkiri ìpínlẹ̀ yìí. Ó ní aáwọ̀ àti rògbòdìyàn láàrin àwọn darandaran ló jẹ́ èyí tí wọ́n lè káwọ́ rẹ̀ tó sọ pé àwọn àgbẹ̀ àti darandaran ni wọ́n jẹ́ olùdókòwò èyí tó ń kópa ribiribi lẹ́ka ti ètò ọ̀gbìn. Ọba jíròrò pàtàkì fún gómìnà ń rọ àwọn olùkópa níbi ètò náà láti rí i pé wọ́n lo ìrírí wọn láti lè jẹ́ pé wọ́n ṣe ìrànwọ́ fún ètò ààbò orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Alámòjútó àjọ helpress nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀gbẹ́ni Yínká Adédìpẹ̀ sọ pé àgbékalẹ̀ ètò náà ló wà láti ran àwọn àgbẹ̀ àti dandan lọ́wọ́ lójúnà àti lè rí i pé wọ́n wójútùú sí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ọ̀rọ̀ ààbò àti rògbòdìyàn tó máa ń wáyé láàrin wọn ní àsìkò tó yẹ. Ọ̀gá àgbà àjọ tó ń rí sí ìdàgbàsókè káàkiri àgbáyé ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ebruke Esike sọ pé ètò náà ló wà láti rí i pé wọ́n fi àyè gba àwọn àgbẹ̀ àti darandaran láti fi kòlókò lójúnà àti wá ọ̀nà àbáyọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ìwúrí wọn. Akọ̀wé àgbà níléeṣẹ́ fẹ́tò ọ̀gbìn ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ebenezer Ojo tí adarí lẹ́ka ti ètò àmójútó àwọn ẹran ọ̀sìn ọ̀gbẹ́ni Anthony Alọ́fẹ́ àti alága ẹgbẹ́ AFAN ọ̀gbẹ́ni Adébọ́lá Alágbádá àti àwọn sọ pé àwọn àgbẹ̀ àti darandaran léyìí tí ó yẹ pé àwọn wọn máa wáyé lemọ́lemọ́ ni wọ́n nílò àjọṣe lójúnà àti jẹ́ kí ètò ààbò kó wà lẹ́ka ti ètò ọ̀gbìn. Olùkọ́ kan ní fásitì ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Christopher Olúwadáre ti tọ́ka sí àìsí ìdókòwò ṣètò ẹ̀kọ́ àti àwọn ẹ̀ka ìlera gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn okùnfà onírúurú àwọn ìṣòro tó ń kojú Nàìjíríà. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ náà di mímọ̀ lásìkò tó ń ṣe ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kẹtàléláàádọ́rùn ní fásitì ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì EXU nílùú Adó Èkìtì tí àkọlé rẹ̀ jẹ́ kí ni ṣe ọ́ mi ò mọ̀ àyẹ̀wò ìmọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ tí kò lópin. Oníròyìn BSS Olúṣọlá Thomas jábọ̀ pé gíwá fásitì náà ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Joseph Ayọ̀délé ló darí ètò ọ̀hún. Ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà tí àwọn igi ìwé gbòǹgbò ìmọ̀ ti ń lé àtìlẹ́yìn odi ìpínlẹ̀ yìí, àwọn òṣèlú àtàwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí tó fi mọ́ àwọn orí adé àtàṣáájú ẹlẹ́sìn ti kópa. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n nípa ti ìmọ̀ medical sociology ọ̀hún sọ pé ètò ìlera ọpọlọ àti ìlera pípé ni ó jẹ́ tí ó ṣe pàtàkì fún ìgbẹ́gbádùn aráàlú ẹlọ́dọni àti ìjọba lójúnà àti rí pé wọ́n ṣe àwọn tó tọ́ láti ṣèrànwọ́ ètò ìlera pípé láwùjọ. Ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Olúwadáre ẹni tó mẹ́nubà bẹnu àtẹ́lu ọ̀rọ̀ ìpànìyàn ètò ààbò tó mẹ́hẹ̀ káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí èyí tí kò ṣẹ̀yìn bí ó ṣe jẹ́ pé ìwà iṣẹ́ àtúnṣe ti peléke sí i àti bí ohun gbogbo ṣe gbówó lórí tó fi mọ́ bí ó ṣe jẹ́ pé àwọn èèyàn kò láǹfààní sí ètò ìlera àti ohun tó dára ní pàtàkì omi tó mọ́ gàrà ètò ìlera tó péye àti bó ṣe jẹ́ pé ayédèrú oògùn àti jẹgúdújẹrá ṣe gbẹlẹ̀ kan ní gbogbo ẹ̀ka. Onímọ̀ medical sociology ọ̀hún sọ pé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ náà ló jẹ́ pé ó ti ṣe àkóbá fún ètò ìlera lórílẹ̀‐èdè yìí léyìí tí ó sì jẹ́ pé bí ó ṣe jẹ́ pé àwọn ààyò ni ó ń ṣe àkóbá fún ètò ìlera àti ìpèsè àwọn amúlùdùn káàkiri orílẹ̀‐èdè yìí. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀ gíwá fásitì náà ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Joseph Ayọ̀délé nínú ìfọ̀rọ̀wánilẹ́nuwò ojúwe ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà bí èyí tó wáyé lásìkò léyìí tí ó sì jẹ́ pé ó ní àwọn ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀hún ni yóò mójútó àwọn ìpèníjà èyí tó ń kojú orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lásìkò àti láti jẹ́ kí àwọn aráàlú gbé ìgbé ayé gbẹdẹmukẹ. Wọ́n ti gba àwọn ọmọ iléèwé lámọ̀ràn láti gbájúmọ́ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wọn kí wọ́n lè ṣàṣeyọrí nínú ìlépa wọn nínú ẹ̀kọ́. Àwọn ìkàn ìlú fúnpè náà níbi ayẹyẹ ìgbaniwọlé kejì ti fásitì Venite Ìlọ́rọ̀ Èkìtì nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Olúṣọlá Thomas jábọ̀ ìròyìn pé ayẹyẹ náà ni ó yẹ kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú yan wọlé títí àwọn ìkàn àti gbìgbòmọ̀ léyìí tí ó fi mọ́ àwọn lọ́gàálọ́gàá lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ọba àwọn aṣáájú ẹlẹ́sìn àti orí adé nígbà tí ó ń kí àwọn èèyàn káàbọ̀ síbi ètò náà. Adelé Gíwá fásitì ọ̀hún ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n Calvin Adúlójú rọ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí wọ́n gbà wọlé náà láti tẹ̀lé òfin àti ìlànà ti iléèwé náà kí wọ́n sì yẹra fún ẹgbẹ́ òkùnkùn. Ètò ìgbaniwọlé ọ̀hún léyìí tí wọ́n darí ètò jẹ́jẹ́ ni ó jẹ́ pé akọ̀wé àgbà iléèwé náà ọ̀mọ̀wé Ezekiel Agbájé ṣètò rẹ̀. Àwọn èèkàn níbi ètò nínú ọ̀rọ̀ ìwúrí wọn rọ àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ náà láti farajì sí ètò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọn lójú láti lè jẹ́ kí àlá wọn nínú ọgbà iléèwé náà kó lè di ṣíṣẹ àti láti mú àgbéga bá ètò ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ wọn. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tirẹ̀, ìyàwó gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ọ̀mọ̀wé Ọláyẹmí Abíọ́dún Oyèbánjí, ẹni tí kọmíṣánná fọ́rọ̀ àwọn obìnrin Péjú Abáfẹ́mi ṣojú fún, tẹnumọ́ pé ìdàgbàsókè ètò iléèwé nípínlẹ̀ yìí ló jẹ́ ara ìgbésẹ̀ ìjọba Oyèbánjí láti mú àgbéga bá ẹ̀ka náà nípínlẹ̀ yìí. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n fọ̀rọ̀ wá lẹ́nu wò, olùdásílẹ̀ iléèwé náà ni ó dunnú sí ìdàgbàsókè àti ìtẹ̀síwájú tó ń bá iléèwé náà. Lára àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí wọ́n gbà wọlé náà ló tẹnumọ́ ìfarajì wọn láti gbájúmọ́ ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wọn. 350 àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni wọ́n gbà wọlé níbi ètò náà. Ètò gbálùmọ̀ olóṣooṣù tóṣù yìí yóò wáyé nípínlẹ̀ Èkìtì lọ́jọ́ àbámẹ́ta bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti aago 7 sí 10 òwúrọ̀. Lílọ bíbọ̀ àwọn èèyàn àti ọkọ̀ ní ààyè kò ní sí fún àyàfi àwọn tó wà lẹ́nu àkànṣiṣẹ́ àti àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó ń kópa nínú ìdánwò NECO tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú àwọn alábòójútó wọn. Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba ni wọ́n ń retí láti tú àwọn ọ́fíìsì àti agbègbè wọn ṣe lọ́la, bí ó ti jẹ́ pé àwọn oníṣòwò ti tú àwọn ilé ìtajà wọn ṣe lónìí. Àkòrí ètò gbálùmọ̀ náà ni àyíká tó mọ́ tónítóní, bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú rẹ̀ ń ṣe móríyá nípa ojúṣe kálukú lórí ètò ìmọ́tótó. Àwọn èèyàn ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ni wọ́n gbà nímọ̀ràn láti kó àwọn ojú àgbàrá ilé wọn kí wọ́n dá pàǹtí wọn nù síbi tó dára nítorí àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ wọléwọlé, àwọn àjọ tí kìí ṣe tìjọba àti àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ààbò yóò ṣàbójútó ètò náà, bí àwọn kóòtù alágbèéká yóò sì ṣe ẹjọ́ àwọn tó ṣẹ̀ sófin gbálùmọ̀ lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Adémọ́lá Adélékè ti kéde ọ̀la gẹ́gẹ́ bí àyè ìsinmi láti ṣe ayẹyẹ ti ètò àti ọdún tuntun fún ẹ̀sìn Islam. Èyí ló jẹun nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tí akọ̀wé àgbà níléeṣẹ́ fọ́rọ̀ ẹlẹ́sìn àti àkànṣe iṣẹ́ ọ̀gbẹ́ni Mudasiru Oyèdèjì fi síta. Adélékè rọ àwọn mùsùlùmí láti lo àkókò ìjírà fi gbàdúrà fún àlàáfíà, ìtẹ̀síwájú àti ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Ààrẹ Bọ́lá Tinubu ti bọwọ́ lu àbá òfin 4 ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ti owó orí nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà láti ṣèrànwọ́ owó tó ń wọlé lábẹ́lé àti ti ètò owó tìpínlẹ̀ yìí. Àbá òfin 4 ọ̀hún tí ààrẹ bọwọ́ lù ní ó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú àbá òfin lórí ọ̀rọ̀ owó orí, àbá òfin ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà lórí ètò ìṣàkóso ti ọ̀rọ̀ owó orí, àbá òfin ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà lórí àjọ tó ń rí ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ ti gbogbo wọlé lábẹ́lé, tó fi mọ́ àbá òfin tó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ètò ọ̀rọ̀ àgbékalẹ̀ àjọ tó ń mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ owó orí. Ààrẹ Tinubu ló bọwọ́ lu àbá òfin náà ní ilé ìjọba nílùú Àbújá lẹ́yìn tí ó jẹ́ pé ètò ìfikùnlukùn ti wáyé nílé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àpapọ̀ torílẹ̀-èdè yìí pẹ̀lú àwọn lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ àti àwọn ìkànnlú lórí àbá òfin náà. Èyí ló pin ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ yòókù tún di lọ́la kásùn rẹ̀ o.